That clip was filmed last night. Or was it shoe night? It was only filmed a couple of hours ago, but it's a different day, so I'm gonna just say it's earlier tonight. I think those are what it's supposed to be. But as you know, Giggles, I went to Six Flags Haunt Fest earlier tonight. And I went with Spammy, her boyfriend, and a couple of our other friends. And 3/4 of those friends are hormone-stricken teenagers that have themselves boyfriends and girlfriends, which they are not fun to hang out with because they only have eyes for their potential mates. So they're kind of boring. So I ended up being bored on sugar. They wouldn't pay attention to me. I drank some Mountain Dew. I'm still very awake. And the only thing that kept me really surviving was Spammy and her boyfriend because they're pretty cool. They're not all hormone-stricken. There's kissing, but they're not like to each other, so it's good. At some point, Spammy's boyfriend did hold my hand, but that was because he found out that I was disappearing in the crowds because I wasn't really caring that I was with the group and I was kind of standing back. So he kind of grabbed my hand and I'm like, this is weird. He eventually let go of it and it was fine and I wasn't creeped out anymore. But yeah, that it happened. The group ended up going on the ride called the Giant Drop, which I had no interest in going in because I don't really want my organs to move. And that's why I feel like it does. And Spammy kind of felt the same way and she was very horrified. So we sat on a bench and watched our friends plunge to their almost death. It pretty much looked like this.
The point of it.
I can't believe I just said that.
Were you taking a photo?
After they didn't die, Spammy and I walked off to the carousel because the group kind of was being slow and we were like, we're not waiting for you anymore, it's been an hour. So we left and went to the carousel and we rode it 8 times in a row on different animals. And it was really cool. And we would have rode it more, but the group found us and promptly just dragged us away from the carousel. But these are the animals we ended up choosing.
Isn't that funny? My horse looks a little bit crazy.
Don't hit a plastic horse. Don't. It hurts. Yes, that is not an animal. We know it was a chair, but it was kind of fun to just sit and talk, and we ended up running into Spammy's younger sister and the person she was hanging out with, which I know perfectly well who she is. I just don't have a name for her, so I'm not referring to her in any name. And it was interesting. So we just sat on the bench and talked. It was nice.
Do it!
Yes, Spammy is yelling at that reindeer. It was something along the lines of, "Hey, reindeer, what you doing in a place like this?" And it's because it was Halloween and it was a reindeer. Don't put Spammy on sugar. It was something like that. Just don't. Giggles, you know what she's like on sugar. She picks fights with reindeer that can't move. Carousel was a very fun place after that, but the whole time we lived in fear of these noisy tubes, which promptly went beep really, 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 really loud or something like that every time the carousel ride was over, and you really didn't want to stop in front of those because it would hurt. So I lived in fear of it. I never got my ears blown off, though. My ears are still fine.
Oh,
I ended up buying Spammy a hot chocolate because her boyfriend made her go on a ride, and I thought she would freak out, and it was cold out, so I was like, okay, I'm buying you a hot chocolate. So I bought her hot chocolate, and then the guys and their girlfriends and everybody went on another ride, a roller coaster, and Spammy was like, I'm not going on that. So I was like, okay, I won't go on it either, I don't care. And I went and took her to get a refill of this cup that was for a slushie. So she ended up walking around with a slushie and a hot cocoa at the same time, telling me that the slushie was for when the hot cocoa burned her tongue. And this is either genius or the stupidest thing I've ever heard. I don't know. It's a fine line between them. Very interesting, and I should try it one day, but I don't think I like slushies. So I'll try something else. While the guys and their girlfriends were on a roller coaster, Spammy and I found some zombies singing and dancing, which was different, but really kind of cool. So we did that until we had to leave, and the buses were gonna leave without us. So it was really cool. The whole bus ride was like this. Yes, lightsabers and all for 2 hours until we got home. It kind of made me feel like we were going to die because it's dark out and there's lightsabers lighting up the bus. We were kind of doomed. The kids eventually fell asleep and their lightsabers stayed off. So, that's my story of what my Friday night was like, and Saturday morning. Ish. Good night, Giggles.